you. Dun 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 dun. Coming through with the strength in you. Hey boo. Hey, coming through with the strength in you. What it do, what it do. Coming through with the strength in you. You made it. Good job. Strength in you. Coming through. Strength in you. Coming through. Hey boo.
Hey, boo. Hey, boo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. You made it through the weekend. So we're about to come through with the strength in you. We're about to bring the queen in and see what we get amongst the things. Let's see. I don't know what happened to the queen, but let's get the king in.
You
Good morning. Happy Monday, brother. How you doing?
chilling. I took a nap earlier, so I'm still kind of waking up. To be honest with you, um, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Good
good.
stuff. Good stuff. I'm glad
How
you
was the show last week without your boy?
interesting.
Really
Interesting. But we digress. We make it through. We push through with that strength in you.
I'm gonna
Never
have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check
been.
it out.
It was definitely an interesting show. But this week's show is going to also be an interesting show because the internet is doing what it's doing. That's why our girl Courage ain't on the scene. I don't know what's going on her side of the world. But when she comes back, guys, we're gonna let her back in. But today we're talking about some good stuff. We got two words of the day because I couldn't choose.
Mm,
So I was like, we're gonna do both of them. We're gonna learn two new things. And of
there you
course, we
go.
got our little history lesson. And then our King Wisdom gonna hit us with some motivation time before all of that happens. We gotta
Hmm.
motivate the people and put some love into your life and your heart. So that's coming. And then of course we got our history with our two people. So but today we're gonna talk about everybody's so busy wanting equality. We want to be equal to everybody else. And I'm like, let's get past that. Nobody is equal to nobody. We just have to accept what is and the roles that is just what it is. But before all that, let's get into
The word of the day, don't wait, educate.
Your jingles are always so catchy. I don't know. Like I do all the editing for people who don't know, like all those little things that come up, I do them. But every time I hear them, I'm like, ooh, I'm jamming up.
yes. So these are our words, guys. The word of the day. I don't know what in the double H. Well, I just don't know. But before we go into the words, I see our queen has arrived, guys. We gotta let our queen in on the scene. Every time I try to let her in, we're just gonna fall back. But let's find out what these words mean because they are interesting words and I've never seen them a day in my life. So this is gonna be fun. Bow. Here's this first one. How you think you say that, Wisdom?
Ja Adube.
That sounds about right. I'm glad you can read. But based on this little thing here, it looked like it's za.
Oh, is it?
That's what it looked like. But
Ooh,
let's check it out.
that'll sound like Ja to me. But go ahead.
My bad.
Jadoob.
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 Jadoob. Okay.
Jadoob.
And it means a declaration by a player intended to adjust the placing of a chessman without making a move without making a move with it. Okay, wait, what? I'm gonna read that Jadoob again. It's a declaration by a player intended to adjust the placing of a chessman without making a move with it. Okay, I don't think I'm ever gonna use that. I don't even play chess.
Yeah.
But we're gonna read these sentences and just play anyway because that's the fun part. With that strength in you, let's come through. You want to kick it off with him?
Yeah, I forgot to say Jadoob before I rightened the fallen knight. So I was forced to play it.
Okay.
Oh, you can't touch. Okay, I don't play chess a lot, but you can't move. You can't touch something like a piece without moving it. So if
Right.
you touch a piece, you have to move it. So I think what you do is like, oh, I'm gonna take the knight and move him here, like declaring you're gonna make the move. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
that's all
Saying
it is.
basically saying what's gonna happen before it happens without touching
Hmm.
the piece. Okay. Let's see. The chess tournament has extremely strict rules. It doesn't even allow it doesn't even allow the jadoo. Okay.
Jadoo.
You want to hit that last one, sir?
Yeah. When a player says Shadoob, they are allowed to dress a piece without penalty. Oh, okay. So you say Shadoob, you can move it, and you don't have to like get in trouble for a penalized.
Right. So you have to say a jadoo to allow you to move
Jadoob.
without a penalty.
Jadoob.
Jadoo. Oh, zadoo.
Say ja.
Jadoo. Jadoo.
There we go.
Jadoo. Ah, I got it, y'all. So before I try to move a piece, I better say jadoo.
You're ridiculous, bro.
Let me hear y'all sentences for jadoo before we go to this new word that we have no idea what that word is either.
Neural?
Love
Neural?
you.
Love you. Hello.
Hey, Jocelyn Boo. Okay, here's our other word, y'all. How you think we say? I think we say no.
Neural.
Neural, you think?
Yeah.
Let's find out. Is King Wisdom right? Did we give him the right name? Because he got the wisdom. Let's see.
Neural.
Neural, you are absolutely right. And a neural is a small projecting knob or ridge, especially in a series around the edge of something. Okay. I have several razor handles, but prefer the one with neurals that help me keep my grip in soapy water. Okay. You want to go with the next sentence before I tell you my crazy
Yeah. Many many hand tools are designed to strategically place neurals to make them easier to hold.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what that is. I think I know what that is.
So, as a stylist before my stroke, I would say using shears, which is what you use to cut your hair with. I prefer the shears that had nerves on the side to make it easier for me to be able to hold them and grip them and do my little special tricks with the shears. What about you? You got a sentence for?
Oh, I I love to use I prefer to use my neural. No, I prefer to use the hammer with the neural because it's easier to hold.
Good job. Great sentence. If our sister Courage is watching this, boo, we're not trying to keep you off. Your internet is being janky, but I just want to let you know we love you. Shout out to Courage. But good job. I love those sentences. Those were two words that I've never seen, y'all. Those was
I never ever in my day use Shadoom ever again. So
I would never even see that word again. But you know what time that means? We got our special little words in. They were fun words, guys. They were interesting words. But now you know what time it is.
When you motivate, you elevate. It's motivation time.
woo woo! It's motivation time, ladies and gentlemen. And to kind of like piggyback off the topic today, it's don't compare yourself to others, right? Just because X, Y, and Z are doing better than you are, doesn't mean that you're not doing your best and you're not doing your what you have to do, right? Just because I went to church yesterday and my pastor was hello. I went to church and my pastor was talking about going on social media. And we only see highlights, right, of everybody's life. You only see highlights. You don't see behind the scenes when they're doing regular business, right? When they do what they have to do to get to the highlight. So don't compare yourself to other people, right? Don't compare yourself to other people thinking that you're not doing enough and you're not making the effort or you're not doing what you have to do. Everybody has a certain life to lead, and it's our job to drop the act, right? And go after it and make yourself better at the end of the day. Like God, I don't want to talk about God too much, but He has like a gift for each and every one of us. And it's up to us to accept that gift, recognize what it is, and move forward. Uh, and I have a quote I want to share with y'all. And who, who's it by? Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald, you know the singer? So she says, just don't give up on trying to do what you really want to do. Where there is love and inspiration, I don't think you can go wrong. And that's true. I agree with Ella Fitzgerald. I love you guys, and this was your daily motivation time with Junior, aka Wisdom. Woo!
That's the crowd going crazy.
Oh, I learned this trick.
That's amazing, and I agree with her 100%. That was a great quote. And thanks for motivation time. That brings us right into our next segment.
It's beautiful to be courageous. Let's have beauty and courage.
Hey. Okay, well, I seen this little quote, and it was like, beauty means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. Just be accepted by you. As long as you accept yourself. And that kind of hit because, when I was growing up, people would say, be around people that accept you. And I think they was telling us wrong. They should have said, learn to accept yourself before you go out looking for others to accept you. And I just wanted to say that that's one thing that we have to work on, accepting ourselves. And that's gonna come with your mindset, your heart, what you feel inside before you can actually just be like, oh, this person not accepting me.
Right.
Well, how can they accept you if you don't know who you are or what you want to accept in your life?
Right.
So I think if people don't go on that journey, then it's always going to be a conflict. So today, courage is saying, know yourself, accept yourself, and then look for others to accept you. And that is
Great
beauty with courage.
Yes, Auntie. That is great advice. The first person you need to accept, that needs to accept you is you. So that is 100% the best advice. Someone asks, is it wrong for me to compare and then try to outdo something that I see me thinking that I can do a little bit better? No, I say no.
No.
And I'm gonna let everybody kind of answer and give their opinion of it. But with that, I'm gonna leave that question up there. But I would say it's not necessarily wrong to compare when you're trying to better yourself, because that's kind of what I do when it comes to like motivation. Like sometimes I watch Wisdom and I don't necessarily compare myself to him, but in watching him do what he do, it makes me fight even more for me. So it's not really, you don't really compare yourself to that person if you just kind of look up to that person. So you're not idolizing them or mad and you want to be in their position. You just be like, oh, if they can do it, I know I can be a little stronger and I can do it too. So I don't think that's wrong. What do you guys think?
I think can you leave the question up there? I think as long as it's not coming from a place of like envious or uh like jealousy, then it's okay. Like trying to outdo somebody, as long as you do it safely, right? We always have to stress on that show.
Absolutely.
On this show, as long as you're doing it because you want to better yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. When you turn the corner and you start like, oh, well, this person did this and this person did that, and I can do it better, and it's coming from a place of cockiness, envious, jealousy, then that's when it gets like into a gray area. That's where you want to kind of take a step back and evaluate what you want to do moving forward.
Absolutely, I agree with that. What do you think, Courage?
I think the same thing, but also it's okay if you want to do better because that's how you're gonna level yourself. You're gonna level up, but also don't put yourself in a stressful position. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
have to do this. I have to do that. If you're not trying, if it causes you stress, fall back, but don't fall too bad. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
do another thing. Then it might be you comparing yourself, but it might be a different way you approach it. You might be teaching someone a different way to do things. So I wouldn't say it's like comparing yourself. You might do it a different way. You might do it a little bit better. You might have different ways to do the same thing that another person is doing.
Facts.
So I wouldn't
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, so I wouldn't think that it'll be like, oh, I'm better than you. Just do you.
That part. And the biggest thing you have to remember is that this show is going to talk about it. The one thing to know, hey, Heather Boo, the one thing to always know, remember, we grow and recover at our own pace. So you can't really compare yourself to nobody because their recovery is going to look different from yours. Even the way you walk is going to look different. How you chew your food is different. How you swallow. So literally everything we do is different from somebody else. So you shouldn't really, I wouldn't necessarily use the words compare. I would just look at more of a growth and say, I see them doing this. That means I can at least try. But if your body won't allow you to do that, then you don't need to feel like you need to do what somebody else is doing. Like example, the other day I got my run on y'all and I was running, but I would never tell nobody else to go run because I can run. I would never tell another stroke survivor, well, I can run now, so you should go try to run because I would never compare my recovery to yours. So just recover however you recover, and everything you do in life, just be happy with what you're doing, knowing that you're doing your best at doing it, and that's all you can do with that. But I loved all you guys' answers, Junior,
That
Wisdom.
was a really good question, though. So thank you, whoever said that.
Yeah, so whoever Facebook user, thank you, Boo. That was an excellent question because I'm sure you're not the only person who wonder if it's wrong to compare yourself to somebody else and try to outdo them. Nothing's wrong with that. Um,
I'm just gonna so put myself out there because this is what this show is about.
absolutely.
That to let people know that you're not the only one that didn't felt that way or didn't dealt with that situation because I am a prime example. I felt like that I had to be on the level of Joe and Junior, and it cost a lot of stress. It cost a lot of questioning myself that hey, I had to pull back and say, hey, that's not my level. I have to stick to where I'm at and get myself together because if you keep trying to get on somebody else's level and you ain't went back to get yourself together, it's still not gonna work. You're not gonna make it. You have sometimes you have to fall back and just
Absolutely.
think and don't compare. Just say I want to do better.
Sorry, y'all. That was our brother. I had to put his name back up there because shout out to
What
Keith
up, Keith?
Rush. He always putting up with the
Yep.
SCU crew. He part of the team making moves with book signings and doing TV stuff. And we just so proud of you guys. Keep
Yeah,
shining your
he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
He's definitely doing his thing. And I'm so
Yo,
proud of him shining his light.
no, Courage, that was very vulnerable to say online and put it out there. And I want to commend you for that. I know you struggled with like trying to keep up with the Joneses, like they say, for a while. And that I'm super proud of the fact that you recognized that you had not a problem, but you saw that it was causing you stress and you redirected that and you stood in your own lane. And hats off to you.
Yeah.
I don't
I
have a
just
hat, but you know.
I just wanted our supporters. We don't come on here to fake. That's one thing we don't do. Some of the things that y'all go through, we go through the same thing. We watching people too, and we pushing through. We not giving up, but at the same time, we not gonna sit in the same position. We gonna be like, no, one day I'm gonna get there.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I guess you can say I compare all the time. because I'm a stroke survivor, and we got able-bodied people walking around doing
Yeah.
two-handed things that I just cannot simply do. But instead of comparing myself to how they do it, I just adapt to my situation and do it the way I can do it.
That's
I don't
right.
try to focus on where I'm limited or what I can't do or how somebody's better than me. So I said that to say we literally all, as humans, compare ourselves without even realizing that's what we're doing. But it's really how your perception goes with that. You know what I'm saying? If you're perceiving that they're better than you or what you're doing isn't enough, that's when the problem becomes something more than what it needs to be. So I love that. That was amazing. I definitely love it. Before I continue, guys, let me remind you to head over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel at Strength in You. And also, I haven't talked about it enough, but if you're a stroke survivor or if you're a caregiver of a survivor, there is a book going around, and it's called Life After Stroke. And it's written by stroke survivors. With your girl, I'm one of them, but some of them are Australian family, but they are all stroke survivors and they all share their stories. So if you're interested in looking for hope from people who just like you, this book is a book to reach out to your girl, and I'll give you the info to get you one. And also, Strength in You has a book. If you want to know where Strength in You was brought up, well, where it was born and what makes it what it is, this book is a book for you to get all of your information. It gets a little deep in detail with certain things, and it's a little vulgar. So if you don't like curse words, this ain't the book for you. But if you don't mind a little cussing, check it out. You'll find out how we were born and why this is so important for what we do.
Look at you saying plugging away. I love it.
Thank you. But let's get into it, y'all, because we got our history, and I only got 2 cards for you, and I'm going to make it quick as I can. I'm going to read as fast as I can. But anywho, I'm going to remind you and encourage you to please share your history with us. We want to be able to put your history out there. It's not just about Black history. All history is important. So I don't want you to think I'm focused on Black history because I'm Black and I want to put my history out there. But everybody has history. So if you're interested in sharing your history, please hit Junior, Trina, or myself. And we will definitely put your info out here because, like I said, it's important. We all grow that way. The first guy we're going to talk about is Carter G. Woodson. We all heard of him, but I'm not even sure what he did. So we're going to learn together. Carter was born December 19th, 1875. He died April 3rd, 1950. He was a historian, author, and journalist. In 1903, he earned his bachelor's degree from Brennan College. And in 1908, he earned his master's in history at the University of Chicago. In 1912, he earned his doctorate in history from Harvard. That's amazing, especially back in those days. Co-founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, and it was later known as the Association for the Study of Afro-American Life and History in 1965. He was authored The Miseducation of the Negro in 1933, one of the most important books out in the 20th century. He established the Journal of Negro History in 1915, and he also launched the celebration of Negro History Week in 1926, eventually expanding and renaming it into Black History Month.
He did a lot.
He definitely did a lot. So when people say we can't, back in these days, y'all, the odds were so against Black people that to watch and know that people fought and still thrive, it just further enhances my thought of there's absolutely nothing I can do with Strength in You. That's why Strength in You is like, it was a monumental brand and monumental thing for my life and hopefully everybody I encounter, because we all possess the strength in you to get through whatever it is that life throws at you. The next king we're going to talk about, guys, is Elijah Muhammad. Everybody's heard of him. He was born October 7th, 1897, and he died February 25th, 1975. He was born in the Jim Crow South, and then he moved to Detroit. He converted to Islam and studied under Master Fard. After becoming Master Fard's representative for the Nation of Islam, he became the leader. He mentored Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, and Muhammad Ali. He refused induction into the military during World War II, and they put him in jail for 5 years. And was believed to be the inspiration for Muhammad Ali to do the same. He oversaw the largest growth in history of the Nation of Islam, established the newspaper Muhammad Speaks, a University of Islam, which is a private elementary and high school, and he has grocery stores, restaurants, and more. He purchased land and businesses to provide houses and employment for members of the NOI and beyond. He authored Message to Black Men in America and How to Eat to Live. Elijah Muhammad, one of the greats, still out here trying to change the game and encourage our people to still not give in to giving up on ourselves, because we're the first people to do so. So, okay. Heather said, straight to the point, and that's what I love about you all. I love that. Love you, Heather. So true. They was treated bad. Yes, honey, we were, but we're not going to focus on that. We're just going to get the history and we're going to grow from it and learn that we don't have to stay down because of what society or nobody else says. That's where you're supposed to start. You're going to rise up, as Courage says, because that's what's meant for you. That's what's in you. So, two greats, Elijah Muhammad, Carter G. Woodson. Now, let's get on into this topic, because I am so interested in what you guys are feeling and just everything. So as I said, we're talking about getting away from equality and just focusing more on acceptance. And when I say that, this probably gonna piss a lot of people off. This episode in general is gonna hit home in different places for a lot of different people and a lot of different reasons. But at the end of the day, the goal is for us to raise awareness about everything, not about stroke, not about black, not about white. It's just about life. And in life, we just have to accept what is. That includes people. So everybody's, for example, the gay community want to be equal to the straight community, or women want to be equal to men. But the fact is, just based off those two things, we are not equal. I am not equal to Wisdom. My strength will never be what Wisdom's is, because he's a man. He was built different than I was built, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm accepting of that. So I'm not looking to be equal and get what he get, and you know what I mean? I'm accepting of that. And when it comes to being gay and straight, we live different. Gay people can't procreate like straight people. So you won't ever be on the same equal level as far as that goes. So why don't we just accept gay people do what they do, they like what they like, straight people like what they like and do what they do, and it is what it is. Everything else is obsolete and is not our business. So what are some things that you, Wisdom, think need to fall back from equality and more of acceptance?
This is gonna piss some people off.
It is
but
what it
transgenders,
is.
I think we got so caught up recently with trying to, especially in schools, like little kids shouldn't be learning about accepting or whatever. Like, 'cause it's not their place. Like, readouts and I know they do like drag book shows and tell it. Maybe that was God telling me to shut up.
That was the devil.
But honestly, like, I don't think it's a place for you to talk about your sexuality to little kids. Like,
I appreciate that so much. I'm sorry.
Like, I was exposed to sexuality early, and it wasn't a good thing. We treated it like, boys who were boys who were like, oh, a bunch of friends. But it wasn't like I was having a conversation with my mom and dad about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I think we gave them an inch, right? With the gay marriage, that was a big thing for the gay community. And now they want like more. Now they want more. It's like you should have been happy with what you got, really. Like I get and I commend you for trying to push beyond your thing, but like at the same time, you're asking for a lot. You're asking for a lot, and the transgender community needs to like fall back a little bit. Like I
I,
understand we're in 2023, but like know your role, know your role,
now,
and go ahead, go ahead.
I want to agree with you, and I want to make sure people understand where you're coming from. Because as a parent, this is why I agree with you. Number one, kids should just be able to be kids, meaning they should be outside skipping and playing double dutch, playing ball, swinging on swings, sliding down slides. They shouldn't be worried about, well, I feel like a boy, or I feel like a girl inside, because we're supposed to be teaching our children to just love who they are, not what you feeling like. For instance, as a kid, I was considered a tomboy because I like to climb trees and jump fences and do what they consider boyish things. But there shouldn't be a boyish thing and a girl's thing. It should just be kids being kids. So sexuality is so far past where they need to be. They're not there. It's us as adults and society putting these sexual things on these kids. And now my kid is coming home like, well, mom, I get cussed out by this girl because she looked like a girl. So I go and talk to her as a girl. And then she's like, well, you didn't call me by the right pronouns. Why are we talking about this at 11? She shouldn't have pronouns right now. Like, what? That's not a focus. So wisdom. I just wanted to. I'm sorry I cut you a little bit.
Nah, you good.
Make sure I let the people know why I agree with you so heavily. There is no hatred towards these people, but the focus has gotten too much on sexuality and we forgot the heart of a person. So now we're not no longer accepting people for who they are. We're saying you got to change up because this is how you say you feel. And that's the part I don't like. Miss Courage, what do you feel about this equality over acceptance? What do you think people need to fall back from trying to be equal with and just accept what is?
Well, first of all, I'm going to piggyback on Junior. It has become too much because, if I stated before, we haven't really just made a solution of them understanding the difference between being, racist. Then now we're focusing on sexuality. So our kids are really confused because when someone, be negative towards them, they automatically think, well, it's because I'm a boy. But we didn't forget about fighting for just being black. Just having that conversation with them. So it's more teaching going on the boy as a parent. Now you have to teach them about being different in color. Now you have to teach them about where that's a boy. When we were coming up, it was either you a boy or you a girl, and that's it. Now, like you said, the pronouns, I don't even know them. Them, him, he. Only pronouns I know is when I want to, refer to as he or her.
Yeah.
So I'm agree with that we need to fall back because I don't think it should be in cartoons. They are putting it in cartoons now, and I'm like,
It's
okay,
been
what do this have to do with it?
yeah. They've been putting stuff in cartoons underlined without us. And that's why it's important for people to actually watch TV with their children and not just sit them in front of the TV because there are subliminal messages in everything we watch. And if you're not there to nurture and teach your child what it really means, then they're going to interpret it however they want to. And then, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is with that
And
part.
honestly, I'm not a parent, right? But parents need to step up and really check on their kids. Like I've been around a lot of parents, and it's surprising how many parents just take a tablet or whatever in front of the kids and let them do whatever. You're having that kid have access to the internet, right? Like I didn't have full access to the internet until I was already a damn near adult, you know? And there is subliminal messages, and I know a big thing right now going on is like teachers in Florida, because that's where I live. They want to talk about their sexuality open to these kids, and I'm like, these kids don't need to know what you're doing on the weekends. You know, like your teacher teach and go about your business. Like that's your job. Like I didn't know about my teacher's personal life growing up. I'm
No.
pretty sure you didn't, right?
Mm-mm.
So there needs to be some sort of accountability on these parents trying to teach your kids. Don't depend on the school. Schools don't always know best. Like I know I read this article recently, and this girl was confused, right? And she thought she was a boy, and they went on the hormone blockers, a whole bunch of stuff, without even talking to their parents. And I'm like, how are you gonna do that? How, like this girl could have been confused mentally. That's the thing. She could be dealing with some kind of psychotic break. You know, like, and not involving the parents is a big one. Like, that's like crazy to me. So don't assume that these schools know what's best, because they might not align with what you're trying to teach your kids. So
Right.
go out there and teach your kids. Don't depend on somebody else to teach your kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be clear, the school systems ain't never taught what kids really need to know, because if they did, kids know how to balance a checkbook. They'll know life skills. It wouldn't be, you know, because I mean, not being funny, but half the math they teach us, you'll never use it again in life. So I mean, that's unnecessary stuff. So we know that schools are there to get their grants, to get their money, and to just be there in existence, but they don't really care about the future of your children. You know what I'm saying? So that's really, you are on 100%. I've said that till I've been black in the face. Parents need to step up. And not just parents, because aunties and uncles, everybody, every elder in the family has a role to play in that family. Moms and dads teach so much, but uncles and aunties play a role too. Even cousins. Cousins are your first friends, and you learn what friendships look like. So, I mean, family is really your first teachers. So it's important that you surround yourself with good family, because some family ain't the best family, but as an adult, you get to choose who you want to surround your children and yourself with. So I will tell you to get the right family in your corner, but I don't want nobody to think this whole thing is about sexuality, because it's not. It's really about acceptance of everything, even with disabilities. If you accept a person where they are and not be so busy trying to conform them to meet what you think they should be, people wouldn't stress out trying to fit into this box that society says we have to be. Like, I think, like, okay, example, and this is gonna be a petty example, but it's my petty example. Salt and pepper shakers. If restaurants, in my opinion, if they truly had acceptance for everybody, you wouldn't just get a door and a button for handicapped people. You'll have a regular salt and pepper shaker at the table, just like you had the ones that you gotta grind. Everybody can't grind though. So if you really truly accept everything about a person, you'll have it to where they're just as comfortable as the next person that come into your establishment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, without having to ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can have those things, but like that is funny.
Hey, that's one of the things I get mad about when I go to the restaurant.
like having an accessible salt and pepper shaker for like people who can't grind out, right? Who can't use whatever the restaurant or the establishment is using, right?
Right.
You can have special ones in the back for the people. Because how many times are you gonna get in a day? Right? How many times are you gonna get somebody with a disability who can't use a saw shaker? Maybe once, twice, maybe. You know.
There's probably a lot of people just everybody teach. That's when you pick and choose your fights. You know what I'm saying? Like that's such a minor, a minuscule fight that ain't nobody saying that except me because I'm the only one who's bothered when I go to these places.
Mhm.
So things don't change unless it affects a conglomerate of people. But I think my biggest thing is I don't expect like everything to change to adapt to like everything because to some degree, who cares? You know what I'm saying? You're in a wheelchair, who cares? Don't nobody care. You got to do what's necessary and find that strength in you to do what you got to do. So it's not about that, but I'm saying I just feel like in our world in general, whether it's sexuality, whether it's race, because race is even a huge thing in our country and it should not be. We should just be accepting of the differences of people and be willing to learn from one another in order to be able to grow. But we're so focused on being equal. White people want us equal to them or vice versa. I don't know because some differ. But the point is, everybody wants to be equal, but there is no equality. Even with me and Courage, we're not the same people. We're both women, but that don't make us equal. We move different. We are different. So I would never try to be equal to her. And I wouldn't want her to be equal to me because I accept her differences in order for me to learn and grow from her. You know what I'm saying? So
it's just so bad that everything is different. Everything has an equal. Everybody trying to be equal to it. It's equal inside. It's different inside. If you big against small, dark skin against light skin. It just everything is just two categories.
And the saddest part, you just said something that made me think about that the fight is even within our own cultures. Wisdom, I don't know if you go through it in your Puerto Rican culture, but I know in our culture, we have the real darkies, the chocolates, and then you have the light skin, and they separate themselves when there should be no separation. Do you go through that with your culture?
There's a little animosity to like the darker Puerto Ricans, right? Because like Puerto Ricans are normally like lighter. So there is some sort of disconnect in not so much like in the black culture in the black community, but there is a little resemblance of that.
And is there a difference? Is there also a difference with the Spanish that Puerto Ricans speak?
Yeah, that's a big one. Like I don't personally like to be called Mexican. We're both Spanish, but I'm not Mexican, so don't call me Mexican. We speak two different versions of Spanish. Like,
and this is why I won't learn Spanish. As I said, I lived in Toronto. My parents brought me up right. I'm no better than anyone else. Absolutely. Yes, Heather. Nobody's better
It's
than
just funny that when you look in the mirror and you see all the different things that you are like compared with. From the top of our head to the bottom of my feet. Our hair. Your hair is considered nappy versus straight. Or why your hair curled up? You got white people and
I remember
I mean, it just to the skin, to your teeth, to your lips. Why your lips are thick and mine's thin? Okay, I mean, every part of your body is compared. It's comparison. And that's just what society did to us. That is what other people thought. They came in to say, hey, you different because yours is bigger and this is it. And we took it in as it was a problem instead of being like, no, we need to be acceptance of who we are and what we have and our flaws and live on. But then we turn it into categories.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so it separated a whole bunch. It just separated society, as human beings as one, and that's why it's so much hate in the world.
It is. That is so accurate. That is part of the reason there's so much hate in the world, and it's because won't nobody just accept what is. And that's the fact that we were born different, and that's because we have roles. You meant to shine your light a little differently than I shine my light. You have blood in your veins. That's all that matters.
I know that's right here. Well, it's a little bit thin. I might get compared against that. You
Now
got
listen,
thin blood and I got thick blood.
it's about to be random though, because y'all know I have stroke brain sometimes. But Heather, that comment just made me think about it. And she said, you have blood in your veins, and that's all that matters. Only reason that resonated with me a little bit is because I just learned something last night about hypertension and high blood pressure. And it has to do with your veins.
Mm-hmm.
And magnesium is a thing that you lose as you get older. Your body just ain't producing it as much. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have high magnesium, your blood is not flushing the way it's supposed to. That's where high blood pressure comes from. So I'm about to do a little research, y'all, and I'm gonna start doing some stuff and start taking magnesium and see if my blood pressure starts to come down. And I'm gonna be the first test dummy and let y'all know how it goes. But I had to say,
yeah, let me know, because if I have to take one magnesium pill a day versus like the 6 I have to take, I'll take the magnesium.
Absolutely. I definitely will let you guys know, but I had to say that while I was fresh in my brain before I forgot. But that's another thing to accepting these ailments and what is. But you don't have to accept that. You research and do things that's necessary. There are holistic medicines that can help with all kind of stuff, and even natural things that we can eat and just our diets and stuff. So I'm steady doing research, y'all, and I'm gonna find what I can, because I'm not gonna just accept that I'm hypertensive and I have a stroke and it ain't gonna never get better. I'm not accepting that. So that's the only acceptance I won't accept.
But when you think back to the older generations, it wasn't a lot of strokes. It wasn't a lot of cancer. It wasn't a lot of heart disease. And they lived off of the herbs. And it wasn't a lot of medicine, giving people medicine for this and that. They went and said, no, baby, you take this herb, or let me go ahead and mix some grapefruit and honey, and and that was your cough syrup. And so it goes back to like, I was sitting up here thinking like, okay, we have got away from natural healing of our body. To be concerned. Like, I feel like medicine, when you taking 10 medicines together, it's doing something. It's not all helping. It's causing more problems.
One is countering something and countering something. That's why every time we go to the doctors, they want to take our lab work and take our blood, because they got to make sure your kidneys and your liver and all these things are functioning properly, because these westernized medicines are destroying us from the inside out. Yeah. And don't nobody care. You know what I'm saying? So that's going
to speaking of taking blood. Last week I did blood work because I have an appointment on Wednesday, right? And I had to do 5 vials of my blood. 5. That was the most I've done. Usually it's like 2. So how many tests are they gonna run on me? Like, I feel like a test dummy, right? Like
guinea pig. That's what I tell them. Y'all ain't gonna guinea pig me.
Now listen, I'm gonna tell y'all from experience. That's how I had my stroke. I felt like a guinea pig because they kept taking blood, switching medicine. But again, y'all know, like I know, this stupid ass medicine is trial and error. So unfortunately, you kind of got to be a guinea pig to learn what works for your body. And that's why we're speaking about these holistic medicines and trying to look into nature and natural things, because again, for every prescription and for every blood, that's their money. So it's, it's just what it is. We have to do our part with educating ourselves. And that's also in the history. If we learn the history and what our ancestors did, because I'm sure the Puerto Rican culture is different from the Black culture, and I'm sure they have medicines and stuff that you can teach us about, and vice versa. And we can but this is the beauty of accepting our differences. If I was mad that he was Puerto Rican and I hated just his culture because he's Puerto Rican, I couldn't learn nothing from him. But the fact that I'm accepting of his culture and him being different, I want that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the acceptance that I'm talking about, guys, is just being able to learn from your neighbor, not necessarily their culture. Maybe their household was just ran different. So they know stuff that you don't know, but you have to accept those differences in order to be able to learn from them and not just be like, oh, they think they better than me or I'm better than them or whatever it is that you perceive. It's all important because that's how we're going to grow. What? I don't eat fast food or processed food. Good job, Heather. You something different, girl.
Yeah.
Because
Guilty as charged.
right, unfortunately in America, y'all, we sell foods that's processed and not really good for, and they feed them to our kids with the cereal. I saw a TikTok that was talking about the biodegradable or something that's in the General Mills cereal. But it's a lot of families who don't give their kids hot breakfast in the morning and they wake up and get them that cereal. But you haven't educated yourself and you haven't accepted that the government ain't out to help you all the time. You have to accept that part. That's real life. They're not always out to help us. So if you're not educating yourself, they can do whatever they want to do to you.
Yeah.
So we better get our eyes wide open because there's a lot of things that you got to come to grips with in order for them to be able to change for the future. You got to accept. I'm a believer.
Facts. Man, this was a different kind of episode.
I know we came from all different parts.
I know we talk about everything,
Yeah.
but in our case, the fast food thing, try to stay away from. I know it's hard to stay away from processed foods because it's literally everywhere.
Yeah.
But try, like I try to eat my fruits and vegetables like as much as I can. When I'm guilty, right? Like I like my snacks. I have my processed foods. I know recently, uh, Deborah Sweezy, give her a shout out. She sent me a TikTok. It was about plastics and how plastic really ain't good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell a lot of these bad plastics, and we don't even know, right? We whatever. I want my ham sandwich to get my ham. But are you thinking about that plastic that the ham is in? Not really.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that goes into it that we don't think about. But like I said, man, to me, it all starts with acceptance of differences, acceptance of the foods, acceptance of everything ain't for your benefit, everything ain't even for the worst. You know, some people think that when bad things happen, that life is kind of out to get them. You feel like you kind of just going through everything, but no, it ain't like that. It just is what it is. Hon, go ahead, honey. Some hit home. What you got to say?
Yeah. Diabetes.
Okay.
The stuff I hear there's no sugar. Most people say, our parents be like, oh, I'm not buying that because there's no sugar. It's gonna taste nasty. Buy it because these kids don't know the difference, really. I buy no sugar juice, and my nephews, they love it. I be like, y'all don't taste the difference? Do y'all really like it? And they like it. And I'm just saying that sometimes as parents, we buy stuff because we feel like it's gonna be nasty and it's passed down to the kids. Because when I was growing up, I would say, I'm not buying nothing no sugar, it's gonna be nasty, and I haven't even tried it. But because that's what my mama said, I wouldn't go out and buy it. And now as being a diabetic and to buy no sugary stuff, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Like some things that say no sugar taste real sweet to me than something that's say it has sugar in it. And I just want to say,
well, you gotta look out. Even though it says no sugar, you gotta look out for added sugar.
Yeah, but it just even without the added sugar, some fruit is naturally sweet. It's naturally a natural sweetener.
Yeah.
So if you use banana and stuff, that's your sugar.
Right.
Just to be able to eat like cakes made out of bananas instead of sugar. It just surprised me to still have that sweet taste.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, to be honest, that's all I've ever bought was sugar free. Because me personally, I don't like a lot of sugar. Like even chewing regular like double mint gum, it make my teeth hurt. So I have to have sugar free. So when my kids was little, that's all I bought. So now that they're older, when I have some with regular sugar, it's too sweet for them, and
Too
they don't
sweet.
want it. So they don't eat cookies and candies like very rarely would they eat like a donut or something. But those are habits that went with them because I instilled them in them early. And like you said, a lot of people don't buy stuff because they be like, oh, it's gonna be nasty without actually trying it first. Except your body needs something different, okay? And you can't be up in here ingesting all these salts, all these sugars, all these things that's not good for you. Just accept what is and buy what's necessary because we want you to live longer. We don't want you to ever go through what we're going through because remember, be faster ain't what we want.
Mm-mm.
That's that stroke stuff. Be faster. Balance, eyes, face, arms, speech, time for the emergency room. We never want you to be in this situation. So just accept what is when it comes to your health and do what's necessary. And when it comes to people, just love all people. Y'all stop trying to fight for equality because you are not equal to us. None of us are equal to one another. We have roles in this world. Accept your role, take it, go, move forward with it. But stop trying to make yourself equal to somebody else because you're just never going to be that. It's just what it is. Love yourself because you're amazing with just being who you are. I think so. They think so. So you better
Yeah.
get on board and think so with us
Mhm.
and just accept it though. Know that you're loved and it's a beautiful thing when you just accept what is. Wisdom and courage, what y'all want to lead the people with.
Don't
Man,
think you have to reach. I'm sorry.
go
Don't
ahead, go
think
ahead.
you
I'm
have
sorry.
to reach a certain
Ladies
level.
first.
Don't think you have to reach a certain level in order to shine. You can shine at the level you are at right now because there's always somebody behind you that haven't reached the level that you are at.
Facts.
Absolutely.
And I was gonna say, kind of piggyback on that. Don't compare yourself to others. Love yourself, right? Like girls were saying in the beginning, and strive to be a better you. Don't worry about fulana. We say that, but it's in Spanish. Fulana or fulano, like your neighbors or whatever. Don't worry about that. Worry about yourself and try to be the better version of you, and you can have a good life. If you try to constantly get better every day, you have no reason to go but up. So just shine.
Absolute facts. Good advice, courage, and wisdom. Because you are absolutely right. Love you more than you can love anybody else. That's really all it's about. Um, before I head out, let me remind y'all that stroke camps are coming. They are on the way, y'all, and we about to start this GoFundMe real soon. Like by the end of this week, you're gonna see it everywhere. But anyway, it's coming. If you're a stroke survivor, look into stroke camps, strokecamp.org. If you want to hit it up with Team Strengthen You, we're all going to Asheville, September 23rd to the 25th. Look into your tickets and get yourself registered, and we hope to catch you there. And I'm going to also remind you to go cop you one of these young books so you can find out how Strengthen You was born and where it come from and why it's important that you stay a part of this team because we can't give in to giving up. And one more thing. If you are a caregiver or a stroke survivor and you're looking for testimonies about growth and recoveries and things of that nature, cop you one of these Finding Yourself After Stroke books. It has stories of all stroke survivors from ischemic to cryogenic to hemorrhagic. Strokes are everywhere. Unfortunately, they are hitting our world at a rapid rate and they are harming so many families. So we would definitely love it if we can make sure we provide hope and inspiration for you guys to know to never give in to giving up on yourself. Everything that you go through in life has its purpose, and all of it is meant to strengthen you to know that there is nothing that you cannot accomplish with that strength in you. And we love you with everything inside of us. And until next time, honey loves, if you need anything, again, I'm going to remind you to hit the inbox of wisdom, courage, or strength. and we will do our part to make sure we get you what you need. And until next week, Sugarfoot, thanks for checking us out.